Good morning.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still alive and kicking.
Yeah, good, good,
How
good,
are
good.
you?
So we've had a bit of a break between sessions, but that's pretty good because I know you're working hard on putting together the conference, etc. So what I thought we'd do today is let's have another quick overview of the slide deck. I know you've been working on that.
Okay.
I think what you're realizing is that it's takes more time than you think, and there's a lot more
So
involved, isn't
more.
there?
I'm so sick of the slide deck. I feel like I've spent like a lifetime working on it and it's never right. And uh
Yeah, yeah. So I'm loving. I'm really glad that you're saying this because what I want to say to people watching this is the slide deck is really it's a visual representation of your plan for your business that you're asking for money for. It's as simple as that. And so the slide deck itself, it's not about being pretty. It's about being informative.
I
And
enjoy the pretty stuff more. It was fun. That
yeah,
was fun. But getting the whole business concept down into a few words,
yeah,
that is very hard. But at the same time, very useful because it's forced me to really look at what we're doing and what
hmm
we need funds for. And
hmm
so even though it's frustrating as heck, it really does help. It really helps. The process
yeah,
helps. Even if I don't use the deck ever, which obviously I'm going to, but even if
yeah,
I never use the deck,
yeah.
it's really forced me to look at what we're doing as a business. And that's been
Yeah,
really useful and
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah, yeah. So as I say, I just want to be clear, the creating the deck is almost like the last thing you do, but it gives you guidance as to the areas that you need to know. You need to know your data, you need to know your numbers, you need to know what are investors looking for. And it's just about, and if you don't know that, and statistics that you may use, you have to reference them. For example, where did you get that information from? And because you need to be presenting as if well, usually the people in front of you have some idea but maybe not full idea. What they're looking for are two things. They want to know how much, well, three things. How much money do you want? When are they going to get their money back? Is
Yeah,
actually the two main things. And why should they back you? And
yeah,
that's it. What do you want? How are we going to get our money back? And why you? So as I've said before, it's almost like the concept that the thing that you are wanting money for becomes secondary because it won't matter if it's the best idea that anybody's ever had. You have to show that you are the team that are going to make it real, that
mm,
you're capable of this.
mm,
And so that is quite, because we're built to go, yes, I'm amazing at this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. But actually, there's a lot of strength in saying, I can do this bit, but I'm going to bring in this person to help with this bit. This will be the team. These are the gaps that we had. This is how I'm filling the gaps.
that's
So
exactly what I
it's,
found. Yeah,
yeah, and distilling it down. And I often say to people, you've got about 5 slides and 3 minutes to make a real impact.
mm. It's scary.
um,
It's scary thought that that's all you've got.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is, it is. So what I'd like to do is so let's have a look at your slides. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rethink, reiterate the I've just mentioned 5 slides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reiterate what those 5 slides would be.
Mm.
Then the focus is going to be on reaching out. We've called this the kissing frog session because it's about getting in front of investors, getting in front of the right investors, and what happens when you don't necessarily, well, basically if they say no. So,
Yeah.
um, so let's have a look at your slide deck. So I have it here. So give me 2 minutes, and then I'm going to share. Now, hopefully, I will select the right screen. So you should be able to see your slide deck. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, brilliant. So let's have a look at page 1. So We've been working on this for a little while now, and what I always say is, branding isn't, a strong visual presence is important. I mean, it's not just about making it pretty, it's about making it impactful. It's about being memorable. And you were saying before, that you quite like the pretty stuff, but we have to make sure that it is in fact going to give them what it is you're doing, how much you want and why you're the people. So let's just have a quick look here. So obviously it's Women's Business Club. So we believe all women should be empowered to succeed in business. So what I like about this is that you've circled all women should be empowered to succeed in business. And obviously that's what you're looking for here. Then this is the problem. So again, what you've got there is you've got some statistics there. What I would say is if you can reference them, put little asterisks and just say where you got those statistics. And then that way I know you haven't just pulled them out of the air, but it just shows, I like the fact that you've got, according to British Bank, female founders are missing out in millions. Again, if you can reference any studies they've got, anything like that.
I've got all of the articles and the studies in a notes section because it was actually just too much to put in the slide deck. So I do have them all referenced in the notes part of Canva. To show people if they want to know where I got it from.
Okay.
How important is it that it's actually on the slide? Because it's a lot of text.
Yes.
It's really ugly, but I do have it in, so this is done in Canva. There's a notes section in Canva where I've got all of the reference material. Great.
Okay. So your solution. A member platform, P2P lending. Yeah, so the solution is in fact a platform that provides P2P lending, global network, and Ucoin. I'm going to just tweak that.
I wrote what it is under the solution, next generation software to accelerate.
Yes.
Does that help or not? Or is that not good enough?
I think that's great. Next generation software platform, I would just say.
So add the word platforming. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is when it becomes quite subjective. It's about style. Because sometimes the way we word things are different depending on who we are. But what you have to do is make sure that it's absolutely crystal clear that you're looking for, because it isn't software that you're not writing software, you're creating a platform. So actually, to people, if people say software, they then think of a piece of software. If it's an app, say it's an app. If it's a platform, say it's a platform.
We are actually writing software as well, though. It is software.
Okay.
Yeah, we are building software. The P2P lending, the Ucoin, that will all be on custom built software that we're busy developing.
Okay. So next generation software. Okay, so here's the thing. You could argue that you've got a couple of asks in here. So you've got software for the P2B lending in the Ucoin. That's quite very specific. Or you're asking for money for the software platform that is going to provide access to P2P lending, Ucoin, and a global network. Do you see, it's the change of language ever so slightly, just making sure that it's very clear what it is that you're looking for. So I can see you're doing bits and pieces. So you're doing live updates.
Yeah. So if you refresh it now, I've added the word, I said and platform rather than next generation software platform, because the platform is the delivery method of the software that's running the platform.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's correct. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, that is what I had in mind. So so what you've got is essentially, if we do it here, this is the problem, this is the solution. Okay. And this is the product. So this is what you're looking to produce. This is your business model. So you're starting to put some numbers next to it. This is your market. So this is the opportunity. This is the competitive analysis. I mean, this is so different to the first round. It feels like it's really starting to come together.
Oh, I put so many hours into this.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So this is the members. So I tell me why I wouldn't put members in. It's,
It's case studies.
Okay. So
But
I would,
the text next to Sarah's one is not her case study. I need to chase her for her contribution. But the idea is I was asked by one investor who we're serving. So I thought some case studies would be a good idea.
okay. So maybe call it who we are serving, or case studies, or call it that so that they know. Because if people say, can you send me a copy of this deck? Then again, it's just about making it really clear, super clear.
Yeah.
The team is actually something I would put probably more towards the end. I would go straight to the numbers. Okay, so this is some of the numbers. So one of the things, I know some feedback that you got was about traction and milestones. Okay, so that's where we get into the numbers. So here's a little bit of background. This is where you've been. This is past performance, which is traction. It probably needs a little bit more bolstering, but you've also got milestones going forward. And the other thing is that you can, at this level, when you're going, it's the high level pitch. When people say, can we talk afterwards, I say, talk me through the numbers a bit more, you can perhaps have another slide deck that goes into things in a lot more detail.
So I was asked, back to the previous slide, I was actually asked to go ahead a few more years.
Okay.
So I don't know how many years you recommend. I showed it to a lady who's doing our financials, and she said it needs to go at least, 3-4 more years ahead so that investors can see when they're going to exit and get their return.
Absolutely.
What's your advice on that?
I agree. I would go 3 to 5 years is what I usually say. 2024, we're practically there. So that's kind of like now. So you're really only going 2 to 3 years ahead here. So I would go 3 to 5. If you know that you are going to exit in 5 years, then you need to put that up there. Our metrics are moving, and based on an exit in 2028 or 2029 or 2030, whenever it is, these are the figures. Because on then one slide, you're saying, I'm leaving in 2030. And these are the figures that are up there. So I absolutely, the advice is spot on. The strategy, how you are going to do this, and then what they ask is. So there's an awful lot. The all-knowing they say try and keep it to a maximum of 10 slides.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of these you could maybe condense or just take out. And if it was me, I'm just going to go right back to the beginning. That could be where you describe, we believe all women should be empowered to success in business. So you can say, hi, I'm Angela D'Souza. I'm Chief Executive of Women's Business Club. Women's Business Club believes that all women should be empowered into business. However, there is a problem in the market. So in a way, you could leave out the vision one from a pitch deck, from an investor pitch deck, because you're talking about it. So there's one. So it's coming along beautifully. It is massively different to what it was to start with. It now needs fine-tuning. It now needs articulating down. It now needs just, how can you make it punchy and informative? And it sounds like, you've obviously been, and one of the things we're coming on to, you've obviously got some feedback from other investors, which is fantastic. That's what you need. What do you think? It's always a good one. And you're right. What you'll get is a different answer from everybody, but there will be some commonality in there. Definitely. Traction and milestones. So what it is you do, what your problem is, what your solution is. In fact, I'm going to share something with you. sorry, just gonna do. So when I think of 5 slides, I think of, you know, company snapshot, what you are, what you do, and you've got that. We're a women's business club. We exist because we believe our vision is that all women should be empowered. Then there's, you know, what is the problem and what is the solution? The numbers and the traction, vision and market opportunity, product demo, and go to market. I realize that's about 6 or 7, but those are the ones that you really ask. And then when you add in the ask and what the milestones are, as in what the exit will be, that's where you get your 9 or 10. And actually, that's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So company snapshot, the problem, the solution, the numbers and traction, the market opportunity. If you can show a bit of a product demo, that's good as well. You know, if you've got, I know you've got your picture of what it looks like. Talk to them about that. Your go-to market strategy, your ask, and your exit plan. There's 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes it really, really powerful, really strong.
Yeah. So if you look at the bottom, the little navigation bar, so after ask at the end, I should do another slide that says exit.
Yes, because it's really about, or in fact, you could even, let me just, where was it? Yeah, I mean, it could just be their, you know, targets. You could put in another line there, exit in 2029.
Okay. Oh, that's good, because then it saves a lot of work.
Yes, it does. It saves another slide. And so they're now looking at it going, right, you want 1 million to achieve this, this, and this. Now, when you say increase member to franchise conversion to 3 years, oh, right, okay. Increase member to franchise conversion to 3 years. That needs, I don't understand what that means. Well, I do, but do you know what I mean? It's like increase the conversion rate.
So at the moment, we would take, say, 5 years to convert a member to a franchisee.
Okay.
We want to bring that down to a 3-year process.
So I would say reduce member to franchise conversion from 5 to 3 years.
Yeah, I don't have data on if it's 5 though. That was just an example.
Okay.
I'll look
or
into
reduce
what
it to 3 years, or just to work, you know, so that there's not just a target, but there is a shift. Release the full platform by the end of 2025. 10 countries by the end of 2025, 1,700 members by the end of 2026, achieve 5 million plus in revenue by 2028. And then exit. The next line is exit.
So the exit doesn't necessarily, I don't want the exit to be my exit. It needs to be the investor's exit, right?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to, how long do you plan on staying in the business?
I don't, I have 3 possible exits. So it all depends how things go. Isn't it more important that the investor knows when they are going to get their return?
Yes, but that is usually when there's an exit of some sort.
And does that have to be set in stone? Because this is going to unfold. This is not going to be.
So this isn't a loan you're asking for.
No.
So if it was a loan, then fair enough, you wouldn't need to put in the exit. But this is an investment. So what you're doing is you're essentially saying to people, can I have £1 million? And therefore, and that is worth, and let's just say you agree on 30% of the business. Okay. So you still own 70, you're still majority, and that's all good. But your investors have 30%. In order for them to exit, there is usually a sale, perhaps there's further investment, but if there's further investment, it's usually you might then ask for another million for say 10% of the business. So now you're 60-40. Okay. Sometimes part of the investment, and it depends who it is that's coming in, that money might be used to buy out the initial investors.
Yeah.
But that comes down to the terms of the investment. But what they want to know is they want to know what your long-term plan is.
Okay.
So you've got your revenue plan up till 2028. And then what? Do you feel comfortable talking about your three options here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so what are your three options?
So we just sell. So we just straight out sell the company. That's one option. The other option is I will just exit and be bought out. The third option is I will remain on the board with shares, but just step down as CEO.
So I think that you need to put something in around that, because what it shows is that you are future planning, and you in all three of those things you are exiting. But which is the ideal? Which is the ideal for you?
So if I put exit by, why isn't my computer tired? There we go. By, say, 5 years from, so 2029. 2029.
Which is the ideal for you?
Oh, this is so interesting. I wasn't looking at the previous numbers, right? I just calculated based on my age, basically.
Yeah.
2029, and just realized it fits in perfectly. 25, 26, 28, 29.
Yeah. So
is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. So what is the ideal? Is it ideal for you just to sell the business and leave, or is it more ideal for you to have what's essentially a management buyout?
Exit. Let's say company sale, management buyout. Either. It's the same to me.
Okay.
I don't know if that's how you phrase it.
Let me just refresh. Oops, done something weird.
I think if you refresh again, it should all be there correctly now. I think it just takes a few seconds to get to you, to fly across the internet and get to you.
Yeah. So I imagine that they would like you to pick one of those. But excuse me.
It's hard to pick because I don't know. We don't know what the future holds. That's the problem. Like, what if we get an offer, we'll take it. If we don't get an offer, you see what I mean? We can't guarantee a sale, but we can look at, here's the option. By 2029, there will definitely either be a sale or a management buyout. That's the given. But we don't know if we're going to get a decent offer. We don't want to be put in a position where we have to sell just because we said we were going to, but we don't have a suitable offer. That's how my brain is working.
Yeah. So from the other side, investors want to know, to be blunt, that you will be leaving at some point.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're looking. They're investing to scale to exit.
Yeah.
So I guess if we then go right back to the beginning, is Your ask is £1 million funding to scale and exit. So you could put that in for the 1 million funding, because that's essentially what it is. You are going to exit at some point.
So sorry, say that again. 1 million.
So it's £1 million funding
Mhm.
for scale and exit.
Okay, that makes sense. And I was also advised by somebody else who does funding, who was looking into grants for me, not to go for 1 million up front, but to go for smaller chunks. So go for 250,000 in the first round, and then have a new valuation done, and then do another 250 in the next round. So should I check? The goal will be 1 million, but we won't go, our first raise won't be the full 1 million. In this pitch deck, do I put the 250,000 or do I put the 1 million?
You put in what you're asking for.
So I'll change this to 250,000.
Yeah.
Because that's enough to get us, that is definitely enough to get us ahead to say 25 or so, and then we can do another raise around there.
So what you can do then is I would divide your targets into what the 250 is for, and then what the long-term plan is.
Yeah.
So this round targets are for the top 3 or 4, let's say, and future rounds will be for the bottom 3 or something. But because it's, if you don't want, if you the deck is for what you're asking for. And, you know, it's, if 250 will get you going and it will see you through the next 2 years, that's great. If 250 won't see you through the next 2 years, then ask for 350. Okay. So what is it you're going to do with that money? And you've got it on the right hand side that it's mostly going to sales and marketing. There's operations and tech. So you're not actually asking for the money to develop the tech. You're asking for it to sell it and market it. I'm not sure that you would get any money for that.
Sorry, say that again.
The way you've used it there for use of funds is it looks like what you're asking for is money to sell and market it, not to create the tech.
Yeah, the 15%.
But then that's maybe based on the 1 million.
Yeah, so that does cover the tech, the development costs. The sales and marketing actually costs more than the tech development in the first up to 2025. Once we get into the software development, then that's where it's the percentages will swing around.
But you're asking from right at the start, the solution is a software and platform, next generation software and platform, and you're asking for 250k to develop said software and platform. So to then come in here and say, oh, but that's only 15%. So actually you don't, well, let's say it was 15% of the million, that makes it what, 150,000. So you only need 150,000 for the software. Do you see where I'm coming from on that?
Yeah, but if we don't have the sales and marketing budget, then there's going to be software and no revenue.
I understand that, but it can't be, the funding can't all be about sales and marketing.
Okay. But without it, there is no...
Yes, but they won't give you money for sales and marketing.
Pardon?
You won't get funding for sales and marketing.
Okay.
You'll get funding for tech.
So we need to swing those numbers around. I have to redo the spreadsheets then and reduce our marketing budget.
Not necessarily that. No, you reduce the ask for money for, you just don't ask for, it's not about reducing the budget. If that's how much it costs, that's how much it costs. But what I'm saying to you is that you shouldn't, you won't get, oh, sorry, that's my dog trying to get up on the seat behind me. You won't, going in and asking for 55, if you're asking for 250,000 and what you're saying is 175 of that is for sales and marketing and only 75 of that is for tech, then you'll get your tech money. It's almost like they're investing in the software platform.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
The sales and marketing. So the ask is this. If you're saying that this is the cost of taking this to market, that's fine. and your 250,000 will pay for the tech and a product strategist in order to take it to market, that's different. This just looks like you want them to pay for your sales and marketing.
Well,
which I know that you do, but actually it's, you know.
Yeah, so the key to success, building the tech, yes, but and I completely hear what you're saying. The reason I thought this would be a good distribution of funds is because the sales and marketing is what's going to bring in the revenue once we've built the tech. If we don't have a good sales and marketing budget, then the tech has no value because it won't result in sales.
Yeah, I understand that. I just think that as I've said, you know,
yeah, I hear
250 you have, so the 250 is you have to develop the tech and the software first, otherwise you've got nothing to sell.
Yeah.
And some of that will be about product strategy development. That's where you are just now.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Because this is what we call it's really seed funding, because it's right at the start, you know. You getting to an MVP, really, minimum viable product for what you want.
Yeah.
For taking it to market.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing at that point. And keeping it real, I'm working in my kitchen today, and I just need to let the dog out. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. So high-powered businesswoman 1 minute, letting the dog out the next. So all right. Good. What I'd like to do is I'd just like to spend the next half an hour or so just talking about the other side. What I want to do is I want to revisit a question that I asked way back at the beginning. If somebody came to you and said, I would like to borrow, I would like you to invest in my company £250,000.
Yeah.
It's your money. What's the sort of things that you would want to know?
What it is and how much I'm going to get back.
Yeah. What it is and when you're going to get it back and how much are you going to get back. Absolutely. So what I always say to people is that when you are thinking about the investors that you want to talk to, get inside and think like an investor.
Yeah.
So, you know, what do you want to know about the investor, and how do you think the investor is going to think? So they're going to want to know what you want and when they're going to get their money back. Those are the two things. Okay. So that's one half of it. The other half is, and I always say this to people, is it's not just their party, it's your party. There are two sides to this. There's the people that have got the money, and then there's the people that are asking for money. And when you are going to that person to ask for money, what do you know, you need to do your own due diligence as well.
Yeah.
You need to think about who you want to talk to, why you want to talk to them. So if you were thinking, right, I want to ask for money, and because remember I said you're essentially saying, I'm looking for investment, and then that investor is going to own part of your business.
Yeah.
So you need to think about, so that's one of the things. You're not giving it away, you're not losing control, but you are essentially selling part of your business. So think about who you want to be involved in your business.
Yeah, I think it will be so important to me that it's somebody who really believes in the cause. I think it's important.
Yeah.
You know, some money is just not worth it.
Yeah.
And then also somebody who's willing to roll up their sleeves and get involved. You know, I think an investment is great, but it'll be great. It will be better to have an investor who really wants to get involved. I know that's idealistic, and I know that it doesn't always work that way. But if we're looking at what would be best, that that would be amazing to have somebody who's passionate about the cause and doesn't only put their money into the pot, but actually says, right, how can I help? Let's make this work. And I want that kind of person.
Yeah, well, that's handy because investors usually want to get involved because they want to protect their investment.
Yeah.
And sharing of values, that is so, so important. You say, they need to be invested in your company, invested in the team and in the cause. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So making sure that you share core values is great. Getting involved, they will, as I say, they will always get involved. They want to protect their investment, but it's about that level of involvement. So most sit on a board, most are non-exec. So they're full of advice and they're full of, and what you want is you want somebody that's willing to open their little black book.
Yes, that's what we want. Yep.
Yes. So when you say getting involved, again, you need to be really clear about, are you saying that you want them to do executive role? Because I'm not sure they'll want to. Most
No,
investors don't.
no, non-exec role.
Non-exec. So for them to be a non-exec, that's great. Open their little black book.
Very important.
Yeah, make the introductions, and guide you. But that's going to come down to, so the other side of that is it's going to come down to how coachable you are and how much you are willing to take on from this investor, because they will have very, very strong opinions about how they would like you to go, but if you get the right investor, it's going to feel like a partnership.
Yeah, but
So
also it's not just me, it's the 6 other board members. So
yeah.
It won't be a case of, it's not just them coaching me, it's I have to answer to my board. So
Yes.
so they will become a part of that board.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, it's important to do your own investigation on potential investors.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
never thought of that, but that's really important. Yeah.
yeah. So things like looking up public information about them, about the company. The other thing is it a single investor or are they part of a syndicate? And what I mean by that is, are they part of a group?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what are their numbers? What are their experience? Have they worked in, have they invested in this sort of company before? Who else is there? What are your choices? Are there 10 potential companies that could support you, or actually are you only down to 3? Who are their people? What are their processes? What are their performance? It's not just about them because they will do that on you. They will absolutely do their due diligence on you. They will make sure that you are a safe bet, a safe investment. And one of the best things to do that with is, and you've already started to do it, which is reaching out to people that are in this field and say, not asking for money, but asking for feedback.
Yeah.
And asking for feedback from people that you trust.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, there is a bit of a checklist, who are the founders of the investment company, what's their background, do they have relevant experience? How many companies do they manage at any one time? do they have a track record of success? So everybody thinks about, does the company they're investing in have a track record of success? But what about any company that gets invested by Boyle Investments always end up going on to increase, threefold. How did they evaluate risk? What are their triggers? What are their metrics? What are they, are they generally risk averse, or are they prepared to, where are they on the scale of, if 1 is completely risk averse and 10 is they absolutely couldn't care less and they're just going to go for it, where are they on that risk register? Where do you need people to be on that risk register?
I don't know. How would I know?
Well, do you want people to take a risk for you, with you? This is what I'm saying. But if you think
isn't that a given? Like, it's a risk. Like,
yes. So what would make you take that risk? So that's what I'm saying. Back to the first question: if people were asking for your money, what would make you a 7 or 8 in taking a risk rather than being a 1 or 2? And if you are a 1 and 2, that's okay. What is it that you need to know?
That makes sense.
Are the investors detail orientated, or are they people that, are absolutely happy with the high level? Do you want a female investor? Do you want a syndicate of female investors, or are you happy to have all male? You have to be very clear, and all of those things will then help you find the right investors. There's more work to be done.
It's good though. It's all sorts of things I wouldn't think about.
Yes, I think.
To be honest, I spoke with one of our members once, and she said, she had an investor that they did more harm than good. They did a lot of damage, and I never considered that side of it. Not any money is good money. Not any investment is good investment. And after hearing some horror stories of how women, well, I say women just because those are the people I deal with. I'm sure it happens to men too, but just how they how they've had very negative experiences after receiving investment. And that's something that maybe we don't consider. If we've never had investment before, maybe we don't consider that, we shouldn't take some money. That's not best.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have thought that way if I hadn't chatted to these ladies and heard what can go wrong. It's like, oh, wow, never considered that. So it's really good what you're saying, and I know it's a lot more work, but it's important work.
Yeah, and finding, I think people always think about, and what I have seen is there's a real focus. It's almost like an imbalance there of, oh, we're asking for money, so somehow we have to fall into their way of doing things. And that's okay if you're happy to do that. But I believe that it needs to be a balanced approach. That it's about finding the right type of investor, the person that believes in you and believes in what you're doing, as well as somebody that you can believe in. It's like it's like bringing in a mentor with money. So what kind of person do you want? Or people do you want? And that's the other thing. Is it just, will they have one person on your board, or will they put 2 people? Usually they have what's called an investment director, and they look after the investment. But does that come with business mentoring? Does it come with advisory? Does it come, what does that come with? What do they need to know? What reporting will you have to do? And all of those things are just, and is it, do you want, as I said, do you want a group of people or just a single person? It's finding those things out and asking the people that you've already been talking to. That's a really good place. But my best advice about how to reach out to potentials is as you've said, just say, you know, I have this pitch deck, I'm working on it. Would you take a look at it? What do you think? Asking for advice. Don't ask for money, ask for advice.
Yeah. I've heard that said many
Yeah.
times. Makes sense.
Yeah. So do you feel that you have, you know, enough, you know, do you feel that you're clear on what it is that you're doing now?
Yeah, I feel so much better than when we first started, and I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I feel like I can confidently present. I don't feel like I have the numbers yet that I can
Okay,
confidently present, but I've got somebody helping me with that.
great.
But um, but I know I think I can anticipate the sorts of questions that will be asked. And I think when I've completed my numbers, I will be able to confidently answer those questions. Possibly, I don't know. But that's what I think at the moment. But you don't know what you don't know. So maybe there's still a lot more that I don't know that I'm going to discover that I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
Yeah.
certainly in terms of, I think my greatest benefits thus far, as I said right at the beginning, is all the questions that you've been asking me has forced me to go dig for the answers. And in the process of finding the answers, I have real clarity on what I'm doing. And I think before this process, I didn't realize that I didn't know what I was doing in many ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so this has given me a lot more control over actually what is the business, what am I doing, what does my exit look like, you know. And I think it's just, you know, it's been a step change for me as the leader of the company, and I know as a direct result it will be a step change for the company as a whole.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is I'd like to just give you 6 or 7 steps for when you're reaching out. So number one is to understand, you know, if understanding your market inside out. Okay. And then researching your target investors. Really research them. Number 2, build a list of potential investors that you want to work with.
Are you going to send me this, or should I be writing this down?
Write it down.
Okay, so
you write this down. Yeah.
So
one is understand the market, the investment, you know, what the options are, and then research your target investor. So if you know that you've heard good things about Boyle Investments, research that company. You know, don't just, you know, ask for referrals, ask for people to say who's good, who's not good, who do you think is moving in this particular circle, and then really research them. As I say, do your due diligence. Build a list of potentials. Don't just have one, but don't have 25 either. That's what I'm saying. It's frogs, you know, so it shouldn't be like a big pile of them, but maybe half a dozen maximum. Draft an outreach email, and in an outreach email, you really want them to, you really want them to know why you are the person of choice. Let me just pull this up. To investors. Sorry, I've put it off my screen now. Yeah, so be straightforward when you do ask, you know, I am looking to raise this amount of money. Ask, don't sell. I'm looking to, don't apologize for what you're doing. Send it from you. It needs to come from you. Okay. Give a brief summary of I am looking to raise money, this amount of money, to create X, Y, and Z so that I can achieve A, B, and C. And really 1 or 2 reasons why you're reaching out to them. I see from your track record that you've achieved X, Y, and Z. And then why you are a good fit for them. You know, you focus on this particular area, this, you know, we fit into your ideal client because of, you know, and then a couple of points. And then just close with a, I am available to talk over the phone or arrange a Zoom call. You know, it's business, and it's really, really pointy, as I would say.
Okay, I've got that. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then once you've done that, make sure that your pitch deck is nailing it. And that's why I'm spending time on going, narrow it down, so that it's really, really punchy. Because you can always have supplemental pitch decks, you can always have supplemental information, but when you go in there and if you're invited in, it's, hi, I'm Angela. This is the problem. This is my solution. This is why I know that my solution will work. This is my ask. This is why you should back me. And this is how I'm going to pay you your money back. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know, just following up afterwards. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your feedback. And continuing the conversation, you know, just keep it succinct. It's one of the few times that you can be quite brief and perfunctory.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the right words. Never rude, just brief and perfunctory, because they get tens of, you know, lots and lots of pitch decks, and so it's about something that's going to stand out.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing, I'll just give it a go, and then based on the feedback, tweak the you know, and just kind of learn on the go. I think the scariest step is to get started. You know, it's easy to get to this part, and now it's like, I don't want to speak to real investors. Can someone else do this part?
And unfortunately, no, the answer is you have to do it, because you are the founder, you are the chief exec, it is your company. And even though you have a board of advisors, the board, you are the face of the company. So it's up to you to say, I'm looking for 250,000 and this is why.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to change the world doing it. And I don't necessarily mean in a fluffy way. It's just here is a really great business opportunity. And if I can have 250,000 money, I can really make an impact. And I'm going to give you, and I'm going to make money for you, and I'm going to give you your money back in 5 years, in 7 years.
Yeah. And I guess I'll ask my finance lady, but how do you calculate the percentage that you're giving back? You know, that's tricky. Like, I don't want to say I'm going to give you back 20% and just make it up. You know, you have to be able to back the return.
So then that's a follow-on negotiating conversations.
Okay.
What you're doing is what we're doing here is we're preparing the initial pitch, which is, I want 250K of your money, and this is why, and this is how I'm going to pay it back. This is where you're going to get your money. So the calculating the percentage is saying, I can turn that 250 into 500,000, or I can turn that 250 into 1 million. And they're going to go, okay, so that's a 300% return.
Yeah.
Or, well, it is a 300% return, but that's what you're doing. You're taking their money and turning it into something else. So it's not necessarily, and I can give you 20% back. It's by taking that 250, I'm going to turn it into 750.
Yeah.
You know, do you want in? And that's the thing. It's like you're almost saying you're not going. So in the UK, we have this phrase, cap in hand. It's very subservient. You're not going cap in hand, going. What you're saying is, I've got this opportunity. I can do this. Do you want in? Here are the reasons you should want in. So, it's that equal thing. It's that equality that I was talking about. Now, I know other people may have a different opinion, but that is how I would approach it.
Yeah. I'm going to just try a few and then see how I feel and see how they feel, ask them for honest feedback, and then tweak and pitch accordingly. And just that's how it would work for me. Like I'm the kind of person that jumps in and then figures out if I can swim or not.
No, I get that.
And in some cases scream for help because I can't, which is fine. There's always a lifeguard around. What's the worst that could happen? That's that's what I live by. I think I would feel better just, trying and then getting feedback and then understanding, their point of view and then trying again. I think that's probably the best thing to do. To be honest, I have been kind of doing that, not realizing that's what I was doing.
Yeah, sounds like.
Yeah, I think I have already been doing that. And the feedback is so vastly different. It's every single person is telling me to change the pitch deck, to remove slides around. Every single investor I've spoken to comes back with completely different feedback, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I think if I have somebody who seriously has money on the table, who seriously wants to invest, because I've just been asking for advice, maybe that would be the person I'd listen to and be willing to move my slides around. But it's a lot of them to move slides around.
But it's what you're really asking is the opportunity to pitch for feedback. That's the phrase that you're looking for. Can I, do you have half an hour for me to do a quick pitch for feedback, or do you have half an hour for me to run through my idea? I'm looking for some feedback. And it's just, I would articulate it down. I would try and combine information where you can. But remember, it's about, this is the problem, this is my solution, this is the market opportunity, this is the money I'm looking for, these are the milestones, this is the team that's going to deliver it.
Okay. I shall do that and report back to you.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Aideen.
Super. Take very good care.
Thanks. I want to go do the scary stuff now. Bye.
Bye.